What's up, guys? This will be a follow-up to my last video on the Dinosaur deck list. This is going to be the Dinosaur combo guide. So, few things that I forgot to mention in the last video are the Mochomi cards. The Mochomi and Fua are great cards, great additions to the deck. And personally, in the deck, I would sub out like a Droll and Lockbird. You don't really need it in this deck, especially if you're playing Fua or Mochomi. So subbing out the Drolls would be an optimal thing for that. I like to keep Nib, but you could sub out Nib for options like Cross Crusader, just to like really stop your opponent's hand traps. You can even cut an engine like the Armordorn and Pill if you really wanted to. Just cut down on the engine and main some more board breakers or hand traps. But I like to keep Nib in there just because this deck really doesn't care about your board being broken, and it's just a really good one card. It does suck if you draw it going second, though, so I would understand if you want to sub out the Nibs. For the extra deck, if you don't want to play the Kite or Poly, I would suggest subbing in like a Amphibious Amber Whale, or just as a sub-in for Hornsaurus. But let's get right into the combos. I want to suggest doing that, though, because Kite is actually a one-card combo. I'm going to show that to you guys right here. Just reference, doesn't really matter. Take him. This combo requires a Kite and like actually any dinosaur monster in your hand. So let's just use Yugioh for an example. And Kite is a great normal summon. Like, it's a good normal summon if you have follow-up, because this can easily be ashed and or impermed. But if they specifically ash it and you have like a Jurrac Volcano in hand, you can easily just Volcano effect, pop the Kite, summon the Stego. It's great follow-up. But here is the Kite one-card combo. Let me take those out real quick. There we go. Okay, so you normal summon Kite. You effective Kite. Searching Polymerization, obviously, during main phase. Then you poly the Kite Horned for Hornsaurus. Hornsaurus activates to just place a direct Jurrac Volcano, because if you don't know, Hornsaurus on Fusion Summon does indeed just place any generic field spell directly from your deck. It's great. The reason why people don't run it in strategies like Tenpai or other field spell dependent strategies is that Caterpillar is required to summon Hornsaurus. It needs Caterpillar plus one dinosaur or dragon monster. So I have seen some builds like Tenpai Dinosaur, but it's decent, and I might go over that list, but it's a bit finicky, and Tenpai isn't that great right now anyways, so I think I'll hold off for now. But the Volcano effect, nothing on place, you just place it from deck. But placing the field spell from deck does not give it the activated effects, because you are placing and not activating. It doesn't get certain search effects that field spells have on activation, because this is a place, so it wouldn't get on activation effect. Luckily, Jurrac Volcano doesn't need that, because all of its effects are during main phase or in response to something, so it shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, Volcano effect, pop the Horned. This is also just leads us into our generic Volcano combo, where Volcano is going to pop really any dinosaur monster on your field, so it can combo off of the normal summon the baby if you're really that desperate. But pop the Hornsaurus, summon the Stego. Stego effect, not quick, not on summon, but effect during the main phase to destroy a generic, just any card on field. So Stego can also combo into other things when they're destroyed, like Megalo or a baby. But he's gonna pop himself, and then he's gonna send another dinosaur monster from deck to grave. And then you summon Jurrac monsters whose total levels equal the monster sent. As an example, I sent a level 4 dinosaur monster, meaning I can summon 4 level 1 Jurrac monsters from my deck. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, once we are here, we will use the X effect. Tribute himself. This is not for cost. To special summon a Jurrac, any Jurrac from grave. As long as it is 4 or lower. So, unfortunately, he cannot tribute to summon Astro. That'd be awesome, though. But no, it has to be a 4 or lower. And then we will synchro summon Megalo and the Stego. This is why we play Velfito for the level 5. And then we effect again, because this guy is not once per turn, to go back into the Stego. We will then use, no, we will then synchro, sorry, these 3 for the Astro. And then Astro's effect to place. We will place the Jurrac Impact. And this is your generic combo. What this does is it gets you the, hold on, let me move this closer so you guys can see easier. There we go. What this does is this gives you a summon negation. So when a monster activates itself to summon itself, or yeah, I think that's what it is. When a monster, like in hand, grave, anywhere, activates its effect to summon itself. You can, so an inherited summon, you can Astro effect, banishing 2 dinos from grave. I like to banish Kite here because he's already in graveyard. So then you can effect, negate an inherited summon, and then Kite effect from graveyard, special summon itself. And then part of the effect is to also add back party to your hand. So this gives you follow-up for to set up Chimera on your next turn. Like next turn you can, if you survive next turn, which you probably will with all the field wipes you get, you can just go into a Chimera next turn, which is really powerful for the draw and the destruction power. And just having that level 4 on board really helps. But this is during your opponent's turn, so this gives you this. If you don't know, Kite can not be attacked into if your opponent controls 2 monsters that are not wind. But this guy's not going to stay on field for long, because once my opponent activates 4 more monster effects and then summons anything, we can Jurrac Volcano. Volcano is going to just summon a Jurrac Meteor from deck. And the summon from Jurrac Meteor and Jurrac Astro are going to be counted as synchro summons. So Jurrac Meteor is going to be able to use his effect to just wipe the board. You can Volcano here if you're confident enough, but Volcano, be careful with this, because if you do not have an Astro in grave and you prevent this one from being destroyed, unless your opponent is foolish enough to destroy this or send it to grave themselves, then you can't make another Meteor, because Meteor pops all cards on the field. But then Jurrac Volcano can banish 1 Jurrac from grave to protect your Jurrac monsters on field, but it does not protect the Jurrac spells or traps. So these will have to be destroyed. But now you don't have an Astro in grave. You don't have an Astro in grave, so you can't banish him to summon another Meteor. So you can't summon any more Meteors unless you have one of these guys in grave, or have a Volcano set. But we just destroyed the Volcano. So you really want to make sure you have an Astro in grave, or be careful. So generally you don't even want to activate the protection effect. Just let them go to grave, so you can summon another Meteor. Also, you get the tuner off of this. So if you don't use the protection and just let them be destroyed, if you don't have another Astro in grave, then you can activate Astro's effect in grave, obviously, to banish. Don't really matter. I mean, it does matter, but just 2 generic dinosaurs, which just do you and you. We already used your effect, but it's just an example. To banish 2, summon a Jurrac Meteor. Oh, wait, I forgot. A Jurrac Meteor, when he destroys everything, part of the effect is to summon a tuner. So, generally, when Jurrac Meteor activates his effect to wipe the board and summon a tuner, you want to summon a Megalo to then, when you summon when you inevitably summon the second Meteor, Meteor destroys everything, and then Megalo, when he's destroyed, sends an Astro to grave, and then it just restarts the cycle. Astro effect again, summon a Meteor. Meteor effect, destroy everything, summon the Megalo. Make another Meteor. Meteor effect pops this. Sends another Astro. Astro effect to summon your third Meteor. It just continues looping. I'll show you more in depth about how exactly that works. But actually, I'm gonna just show you now. So I think that's what I was actually doing. So he summons himself, right? You have a Megalo on board. You activate the Meteor. Meteor effect wipes everything. Megalo effect, because it destroys everything, to send an Astro. Look at that, you have another Astro in grave. But wait, don't forget, part of the effect of Meteor is to summon a tuner. So you can summon another Megalo from grave. Now, you can Astro effect, banishing these two to summon a Meteor. Meteor effect, destroy everything. Then summon the tuner, summon the Megalo. Resolution, use Megalo's effect in grave that you just destroyed off of the Meteor to send an Astro. Repeat the cycle. Astro effect, banish 2. I'm out of Meteors from the last example, but summon a Meteor. Like, you can, just with Astro and like 2 Megalos in grave, which is easy to set up, especially if you get the full Stego combo, is full Jurrac board wipe. Easy 3 board wipes in 1 turn. It doesn't mean you should use all 3 board wipes, though. You don't want to overdo it during your opponent's turn. So, if you wipe their board, you have nothing left, they move to their end phase, keep your stuff. Like, if you manage to summon the Meteor and have Jurrac Volcano, like, 1 board wipe sometimes is just enough to completely stop your opponent. So don't overextend and use all 3 board wipes in 1 turn. Save it for next turn if they end their turn. And now, because you activated Volcano, you can just keep all your big monsters on grave. Or on field, sorry. You can keep all your big monsters on field. Let me do another example. This is kind of getting hectic. It's kind of hard to follow. Let me clean all this up. We can do another example. Let's go over the 1-card Stego combo. I kind of went over it, but that's with the kite combo. But that was mainly like an extender. Let's go. What should we do? Yeah, let's just do the 1-card Stego combo. So Stego is 1 card because you can just, normal summon it from hand. Doesn't have an effect on normal summon, so you normal summon response. Then Stego effect during the main phase. Destroy itself. And here, depending on what you else you have in hand, you could either send a kite or a miscellaneous source. Assuming you have nothing else in hand, the ideal way is to send the miscellaneous source, and you'll see why afterwards. But if you have a way to banish this from grave to get the poly and get the horned, or just generally get the poly to save until next turn, so you can Guardian Chimera on the turn 2, or turn 3, I guess it would be. But for this specific combo, you want to send the Misk here. If you can send anything else, do it, because you might want to save Misk for your opponent's turn, because you can actually activate Miscellaneous Source on your opponent's turn to make your dinosaurs unaffected during your opponent's entire main phase 1, which is kind of really good. But this combo specifically, kind of getting sidetracked. We want a Stego effect to destroy itself, send a Misk, summon our 1, 2, 3, and 4. You either want to use the egg guy effect. This one tributes for cost. Does not tribute for cost, sorry. Summons the Stego. We did this last time. Stego into Megalo. For Velfito. use Egg Guy again, send himself, summon Stego. Stego 1, 2, 3 for Astro. And Astro Engrave actually sets a Jurrac spell or trap. So make sure you guys set it and don't place it or activate it. So you just set it. So we actually set the field spell. Activate the field spell. Then if you want to stop there, you absolutely can. But I like just to extend it into something bigger. So Miscellaneous Source from Grave, banish itself, and I think Felfita would actually be ideal. Because you generally want to keep everything else for like follow-up. Especially this guy who can summon a Jurrac and Megalo. So you can chain your meteors and just keep hitting the board with big rock dinosaurs. So, Miscellaneous Source, summon the baby. And then use your Volcano Effect. Volcano Effect, pop the baby. To summon your third Megalo. Wait. And then, that's not Megalo. Hold on. Your third Megalo. There we go. And then Resolution, use your baby effect. Summon your Oviraptor. And then Resolution of that, Oviraptor actually can activate his effect. And you could keep extending here, but I like to just add the Conductor and end my turn. Because Conductor is just going to be destroyed off Jurrac Meteor regardless if you want a board wipe. So honestly, here, I would just keep Conductor in hand for follow-up on turn 3. If you go first. Or just keep it in hand for follow-up. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could Tyranno effect, banish 2 dinosaurs. Let's do you, Baby, and Aiolo. Summon the Tyranno. And then during your opponent's turn, you can Tyranno effect. Okay, let me slow this down. Tyranno just banishes 2 dinosaurs. You now pass to your opponent's turn. It's now your opponent's turn. Whenever you really want, of course, you can effect banish 2 generic dinosaurs from your grave. Let's do these 2. Yeah, we want to keep those. No, we can banish 1. Keep those 2 in grave. Banish and use negate and inherited summon. And then during your opponent's turn, Tyranno effect, pop this, flip everything face down on all monsters on their field. And then Resolution Megalo effect. When it's popped, send an Astro from grave. And then whenever you're ready, you can either Volcano effect or the Astro effect. I would prefer Volcano so you don't keep burning your Jurracs in grave. For the Jurrac Meteor. And the Meteor effect, ideally you Volcano here to banish a Jurrac from grave. I think this guy would be ideal here to protect everything. But Ultimate is not a Jurrac, and neither is Oviraptor. So these guys go to grave. And your main like beater to just attack for game, like your main win condition, and the amazing utility for flipping things face down and stopping effects is gone. It's in grave. So you either have to draw into a pill, draw into some kind of recursion, or just hope you find some way to get back into Tyranno on turn 3, when you inevitably just keep wiping the board. Or if your opponent passes here, this is pretty threatening, but it's not, like it's not game. Like 25, 28 is not game. And of course, on the end of destruction after your Tyranno and Oviraptor destroyed, you can summon a tuner. But from here, you only have Jurrac Megalo. And now that you summoned the tuner, you're out of Jurracs. You can't use Astro Effect to banish himself and 2 Jurracs. You're out of Jurrac monsters. Another reason why I don't like going into Tyranno for that combo is because it burns through like all your Jurracs in grave just by having 2 extra banishes to summon this guy, to summon Tyranno. Those 2 extra banishes just like burn through all your Jurracs. So I would I feel like it's ideal to just keep the Tyranno in hand. So that is just the main Stego combo. make sure you keep the Tyranno in hand. Or if you just want to attack for game, like if it really matches the situation, summon Tyranno. But on turn 2, you mainly want to just keep it in hand most of the time. But anyway, this video is lasting long. Let's end it there. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.